be like,
What's good, guys? So today we're getting back into the full swing of things after a couple days off, and if you did miss the live stream, I was not feeling too well, so I took a couple days off just to rest and kind of recover from a cold and everything, and I have to say I feel so much better today. So we're jumping into this full steam right away. We're gonna be doing some work on the Skyline, some stuff that I've been wanting to do for ages. The weather is perfect. I've got everything out ready to go, so let's jump into it. But before then, the most important thing is we need some coffee. By the way, I'm not a supporter. I just got this for the funny meme factor. But yeah, anyways, let's get into this. So I've got a bunch of things on my agenda today that I want to get done to the Skyline to tidy things up. We're drifting this on Wednesday, so I want to check over a bunch of stuff. But the first thing that we need to do is I want to put in these brand new sensors that I have for it. These are a temperature and pressure sensor combined into one. They're a beautiful sensor. They're not too expensive, and they're just a really high quality item from Bosch. I've got two of these. We're going to be doing fuel pressure, fuel temperature, oil temp, and oil pressure with these two sensors. We've got little adapters in case we need to go to, 1.8 NPT or whatever from the M10 that these sensors come in. I'm going to put a link to these in the description, so if any of you guys want them for your aftermarket ECU setups, they're really good, and like I said, it's all combined in one sensor, so you don't need multiple ports and stuff like that, and sensor blocks and things like that. So we're going to do that. We got the wiring and stuff here all ready to go. We got some butt connectors and things. We're going to get those wired in to the Link ECU, so everything's going to show up now on my beautiful PowerTune digital dash, which I'm pumped about. And then we're going to do some highway pulls, third and fourth gear. We got to data log that and send it to my tuner in Australia, who's going to help me fix a bunch of stuff with the timing table on this. We were doing a bit of a deep dive into the ECU and a few settings and stuff, and still trying to sort out some bugs with how the car was feeling, and we found that there was a bunch of issues there, which I think just comes down to a lot of people in Japan don't actually know what they're doing when it comes to Heltec and Link ECUs. There's a bunch of settings that just weren't even turned on for this car that it should. Like, you guys know, VCT wasn't even enabled after like 4 tunes and stuff like that. So we're going to get some things dialed in. He's going to help me out with that, and we'll get into that later. So we'll be doing a bit of street tuning today and setting some stuff up. So I think that's enough talking. It's going to be a long clip, so let's just get into it, get those sensors wired in, and everything set up, and we'll go from there. It wouldn't be cars without finding a little bit of a dead end here. The adapters I got for the sensor to 1.8 NPT, but the Japanese use 1.8 PT, not NPT. So these adapters won't go into that thread. I did like try and just kind of, but it just didn't feel right. It felt like it was going to cross thread and do all kinds of weird things. So then I was like, okay, I'm not going to force this in there. I put the gauge back in and just did a bit of research, and yeah, it turns out the guys at Tomei said they use 1.8 PT, not NPT, so there is a difference there, which I didn't know. I just found out. So fuel gauge is now back on there. I am going to check my oil filter one now, because if we can at least get that done today, that would be kind of nice, but I just don't know if that's going to be possible either, because that could also be the Japanese 1.8 PT. So I'll just take that sensor out and I'll double check it. If it's NPT, that would be awesome. At least we can get one in today, but I'm kind of bummed now because why do these things keep happening? Anyways, I'm not going to complain about that. Let's just get that checked and see if we can put the sensor in at least there today. If we can do that, then I'll be much happier, and we can go out and get the pulls done and the tune and all that kind of stuff sorted out. So you can probably tell from this kind of mess here that we were successful with the oil block. The sensor went straight in with the 1/8 NPT adapter, so that was the perfect thread for there. Made a little bit of a mess, but we got everything cleaned up. We did also find the adapter that I need for this guy here on Rakuten, which is like a Japanese site. It seems like I spoke to the guys at Otaku Garage, and they've never even heard of PT. Seems like it only comes on like SAD and like Tomei, like those Japanese brand fuel pressure regulators for the gauges. They don't use 1/8 NPT. They use this like Japanese only specific 1/8 PT. Anyways, you can only seem to buy it here in Japan. So I've ordered that off Rakuten. It's only like $3, so that should get here the next few days, and then we'll put that in, and then I'll wire everything in. So for now, I've just got the oil sensor, the pressure and temp sensor in there, and we'll wire that in the next few days, because I want to get out on the road, start doing these pulls and data logging and everything like that, so that we can get the tune progressing. One thing I need to do right now though is I need to check my base timing, make sure that matches up with what's in the ECU. So we're going to grab my laptop, plug it in. We're going to set and lock the timing at like 20 degrees or 10 degrees. We're going to have it here with the timing light. On RBs, because they use a coil pack kind of thing, you hook it around this wire here. That's what that's for in the factory loom. And that's your timing light kind of sensor wire. So you put that around there, hook it on there, and then you can shine down there and check your timing. That's what I'm going to quickly do. And then we should be all G. So I've just finished setting my base timing, which on the link is super awesome and easy to do. I have this really cool tool here, the calibration tool, and I've got it right now locked to 10 degrees. And what you want to do before you do any of that actually is you want to center your CAS perfectly. So CASs have these bolts, right, that let you kind of turn the CAS left and right a little bit. You want that perfectly centered with the same amount of, I guess, room to rotate it left and right. So it's centered, you nip that down. And then what you do is you open the calibration tool, you lock the timing to 10 degrees, and what you do is you check it with the light. What you're physically at the harmonic balancer, I was at about 30. So then what I did was I come down here and I go, we're supposed to be at 10. So what I do is I change the offset and I upped it to -95, and then that landed us at exactly 10 degrees on the harmonic balancer. So that means my base timing probably was out a little bit because when I centered my CAS, it actually was still in the same place. Oh, my timing light stopped working. What's going on? Let's make sure that's on there. Hey, there we go. So now when we look at that, line it up with the line on the timing case, we're bam at 10 degrees. So we are ready to party, guys. All right, so we have a little bit of bad news. We're not gonna be able to do any pulls today and any like crazy dyno stuff. I got my friend Darren right now who's remoted into the computer trying to sort out idle and troubleshoot some other issues with me. We locked in the timing, tried to set the base timing, but it seems like we've got an issue with my harmonic balancer. It's walking, so either the keyway's stuffed or the rubber on the balancer is stuffed. So I'm gonna have to get into that probably tomorrow or the day after and sort out what's going on there. So we're not touching timing for now. We left that as is because we don't want to mess around with that if there's an issue with the harmonic balancer. So we'll sort that all out this week, which kind of really sucks because I'm gonna have to pull the whole front end apart for that. The other issue as well that we have is we think there may be an issue with a vacuum leak or something because we can't get this thing to idle at a decent AFR. It was idling at like 11.5, which is just way too rich. It's always been like that. And he's now adjusting the table and trying to sort that out for me now. It's pretty cool watching him do his stuff remotely. And it's actually really cool as well because a lot of the stuff that he's been doing is like a lot of the things that I've been learning through HP Academy, and just watching that in action is pretty sick. So he's trying to get this all dialed in for me a little bit better. It's getting dark as well, which kind of super sucks. So I'm gonna pack up everything because me and May's gonna go to a doctor's appointment. So I need to try and pack all this all up so I can at least take her there. It's kind of like, I'm not gonna beat on the car and we may not be able to drift it on Wednesday if I can't fix this harmonic balancer issue till then. I don't know, we need to look into that issue and work out what's going on there. Hopefully it's something simple and it'll be okay, but it's also a bit scary. So we don't want that harmonic balancer coming off at like 7,000 RPM. It'll kill someone, shoot through the bonnet and explode. So let's get this all sorted out, and I'll take May to the hospital. I'll just baby this thing, which probably isn't a good thing, but we'll do what we can. Well, right about now, the only thing that I figured is gonna cheer me up is a good feed. We're at this epic little restaurant here that makes some of the best pasta, like arrabbiata ever. But I was just thinking, there's a bit of irony here. My Skyline, my baby, is sick. And then my wife, my baby's also sick. Well, I mean, the Skyline's potentially dead engine. If the crank's damaged, then that means that engine's cactus. You're just super sick. By the way, how'd you get sick? Roughly right after Adam left and he was sick. Anyways, jokes aside, we're gonna go and eat dinner, and I'm gonna try and not be depressed because I need to give my wife a lot of attention because she's not feeling well right now. So I'm gonna try and be happy Sam, even though I know my Skyline's well, the engine in there is probably dead. So these things happen. Literally, that's the same thing Adam did to his Skyline too, to his RB. The harmonic balancer spun on the crankshaft and destroyed the crank, and he had to rebuild the whole thing. I love that you're sick, but you're also dancing. No way! They are playing the same music that I play in my vlogs, guys. Also on my live streams. This is awesome. Oh man, it feels so weird. So I'm back home and I'm really trying to stay optimistic. but most likely the keyway's stuffed itself and that balancer's been spinning on the crankshaft for a very long time now. I have like I literally would not have been checking that at all ever, and it doesn't really cause any problems in the sense of like power steering and aircon and all of that's still been working. It didn't feel like my power steering was sluggish or anything like that. So I'm really kind of confused, because I would think that if my harmonic balancer was spinning that freely on the crankshaft, that my power steering wouldn't be as good at like high RPM when I'm drifting and high speed and stuff like that. So I'm really trying to stay optimistic there's something else going on here. But obviously tomorrow we're going to find out. We're going to pull everything down. I've got to take the radiator out. We're going to pull down the whole like front part of the engine. Like it's pretty much just disassemble everything like I'm doing a timing belt, and we'll figure it out. It could even be the timing belt tensioner, which is very kind of unlikely though, but I've heard that if the tensioner it doesn't have tension as like the engine revs up and stuff like that, it means that, you know, it's like, yeah, anyways, there's a few things it could be, but from everything we've seen and looked at, it looks like the harmonic balancer is just spinning on the crank. And as you've seen probably previously with other YouTubers, especially like Adam's Skyline build, when that happened to him, his engine blew up. And but that was worse though, because his actual timing gear collar, also the keyway broke on that. This is just the harmonic balancer. My timing gear, the timing belt gear keyway is fine. That doesn't have a problem. Which is why it's kind of like okay to still drive mine around, and why my car still feels like there's no problem. It's just the harmonic balancer. So if that's been spinning on the crankshaft for so long, like, I mean, you never even think to look there and check there all the time, because like the only thing that would affect are the belts that are being driven off it: alternator, power steering, and aircon. And all of those seem to be fine. Like I'm not seeing any low voltage issues, or I'm not charging the battery enough, or my power steering doesn't feel slow or heavy. Like I'm really confused, and I'm really kind of upset because, yeah. Tomorrow we'll find out. We'll pull the whole car down. We'll work out exactly what's going on there and see if everything's okay. In the off chance that everything is fine and we put it all back together and it was something else, I don't know, but definitely probably going to need a new harmonic balancer. I do know that sometimes the rubber in them can split and crack and stuff, so hopefully that's just what's happened. But like I said, there's no point really talking about it until tomorrow when we pull it all down. If the crank is damaged though, what I will do, well, I mean, if the crank is damaged, this is me being optimistic. It kind of just fast forwards what I was planning to do at the start of next year, which the crank was going to be getting replaced anyways. Which that kind of gives you a bit of a hint with what's coming, but yeah, so it just means that gets a little bit escalated and the engine probably gets built, and that means that then the bodywork and the engine bay getting painted might end up happening at a later date, so we'll have to end up pulling the motor again and then getting bodywork done and stuff. But I'm okay with that if that's what that means. So yeah, trying to stay optimistic. I'd appreciate some love in the comment section. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm also super bummed because this video I was like, yes, back into the swing of things. We're going to smash out all this stuff on the Skyline. It's going to be an epic day. We're going to get some, you know, street tune all sorted out and the car feeling better and safer and dun dun dun. And I'm pretty sure I started off this video with like, my life be like, ooh, and yeah, literally that's the meme of the century, isn't it? Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Try to always stay optimistic in these situations in life. I'm really trying. Peace out. Ciao, mata.